What's up, guys? How you doing today? It's in Roleplayer once again. I'm sorry, I'm a bit ill here, so my voice is not as perfect. So 3.2 will bring a lot of Ascendancy changes and the Path of Exile, and Ascendancies haven't really been reworked for a long time, and the time has come for them to be looked over and change a bit here and there, because the meta shifts all the time, but eventually over the course of time some Ascendancies became much more stronger than the others, while some were completely unpopular and forgotten. So the upcoming patch 3.2 and the Bestiary will be the first huge Ascendancy rework since forever, and let's take a look at the first Ascendancy, which will be the Deadeye. So the Deadeye was not very popular. Some builds use Deadeye for projectile damage and stuff, but it was not really like super popular because there was Raider and Pathfinder. But let's take a look at the new Deadeye, guys. So first of all, gain 30 life when you hit the bleeding enemy with Rupture, and this is pretty neat. That adds quite a bit of safety, because Deadeye is pretty damn squishy. So it's quite a bit of recovery without the necessity to have some kind of an extra leech on a gear. Far shot got 30% increase projectile speed. It is gone from the fast and deadly, but fast and deadly got the accuracy rating is doubled. It's pretty massive for some specific gloves like the Scarnbook gloves and shit. And for the Obscurantis, that's very interesting. Potentially that can really increase the damage. And also there's increased blink arrow and mirror arrow cooldown recovery speed. Well, that's nice, but kind of pigeonholes in the two skills, which is pretty weird at the same time. I really hope that more bow gems can be used, not just this. Okay, Ricochet got a major rework as well. Projectiles deal 10% more damage for each remaining chain. This is quite massive. Imagine you have like 5 chains with a Deadeye. You can also use Gloomfang Amulet, which will add more damage. And at the same time, this is meant to do more damage for single target. Like for example, single target, it cannot chain when it has no adds. So for single target, this will add quite a bit of damage, and I really hope to use this for the Spectral Shield throw. Now Powerful Precision got a buff as well. Projectile Spears for additional targets. Okay. And now the last and one of the most important thing is the Gathering Winds. This is completely as a new node, 1000 evasion rating, while you have Tailwind. Tailwind makes you 10% faster, and faster means everything faster, like move speed, attack speed, cast speed, everything. So if you have skilled, if you're skilled recently, your nearby allies have Tailwind. 10% increase effect of Tailwind on you for each skill you used recently. Holy shit. Okay, so if you just used one skill, you have Tailwind. Okay. Well, when you use any skill recently for the 4 seconds, you have Tailwind. Whenever you use another skill, you get 10% increase effect of Tailwind, and that basically means 10 plus 1% faster. This is like 11% faster, and a high 1100 evasion rating. Well, that can stack quite a bit of ES, and attack and move speed will be pretty damn good, guys. So I think I will get Fast and Deadly, Ricochet, Fast Shot, and Gathering Winds as well. This will be like the optimal for any projectile attack build, I guess. That's it for the Deadeye. Let's look to the next. Berserker is very interesting now, because he now gains a rage when he kills an enemy. You gain 1 rage when you kill an enemy, 10% chance to gain 1 rage when you hit a rare or unique enemy as well, and maximum rage is 50. You lose 1 rage every half seconds if you have not been hit or gained rage recently. And look at this, what you gain with rage. 1% increase attack damage per 1 rage, attack speed per 2 rage, so this is like 25% potentially attack speed. 1% increase move speed per 5 rage, so this is 10% increase move speed. And you lose a 0.1 of your max life per second per 1 rage, so this is about 5% of life losing every second when you have like maximum rage. Now I'm not sure just how good will this be for, you know, the gameplay and for the Berserker in general, but this looks pretty interesting. I mean, you do a lot of damage and get like a stacking buff that gives you more attack damage, more attack speed, move speed, but you kind of degenerate as well. You lose life, so you need to recover life faster. At the same time, you gain rage as well when you use Warcry, basically, and when you use Warcry, you gain 5 rage at a time, which is quite a lot, I think. Everything else seems like it's okay. The leech is there and the attack damage is there, except there is also the Right of Ruin, and effects granted for having rage are doubled. Look at this. So this is pretty silly. So it means we have what, 50% attack speed? Really? Like 50% attack speed and 100% increased attack damage? What? Okay, so these 2 nodes are pretty ridiculous for damage, guys. Fucking ridiculous. So there's no leech, but you basically kill everything like fucking insane retard with this. It's pretty strange. Overall, I like that there is a balance on the tree. Like if you go leeching, you go leech. If you go damage, you just go damage. Go Crave the Slaughter, go Right of Ruin. But you have somehow to mitigate this regeneration and from the Crave the Slaughter rage downside effect. So this is pretty interesting so far. Assassin, I believe that he is back as the king of crit, because there are some ridiculous changes as well. Like for example, Unstable Infusion now gives 20% chance to gain a power charge on non-critical strike. Look at this. Previously it just was on a non-critical strike and 10% chance. Now you have 10% chance to gain a power charge on critical strike as well. So basically you have power charges all the fucking time. At the same time, Assassin now gets a recovery based on poison affecting enemies you kill. And also tremendous amount of crit chance as well. Like here, plus 0.1 critical strike chance per poison affection enemy up to 2%. This all fucking ridiculous. And look at this, for example, Ambush was reworked as well. 100% more crit against enemies that are on full life, as well as 100% crit on enemies that are on low life. So basically, no matter what they are on low or full life, you will get ridiculous amount of crit on them. Overall, Assassin got nothing but buffs and a lot of things, like a lot of recovery as well. So I think that for all things crit, Assassin might potentially regain its power for the crit, you know, speciality class out there in Path of Exile. Now Hierophant got one of the most ridiculous buffs I've ever seen for all these changes we have. Not only he doesn't have the penalty for placing totems now, like the old Ritual of Awakening has 2 additional totems at a time, but 7% less totem damage per totem. Now you can have 1 totem here and 1 totem here, and no penalties, and also you regenerate 100% of mana per second per totem, and you and your totem regenerate 1% of life per totem. So imagine how many fucking life you can regenerate, as well as how much mana. This is ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous, guys. And look at the amount of endurance and power charges now we can gain, and also reduce the elemental damage taken while we have an endurance charge. This is all fucking ridiculous. We have also damage penetration while we have power charges. And not only this, but we also have increased area of effect. We'll have Arcane Surge, and Arcane Surge, basically, we gain Arcane Surge when you and your totems hit an enemy with a spell. This is ridiculous. This is so much damage. 40% increased spell damage while you have Arcane Surge. Really? Really? And half percent of spell damage leached as life when we have Arcane Surge. This is all crazy. So we can have like 5 or even 6 totems, I guess, with the Soul Mantle. With the Ancestral Node, we get instantly 4. With the Soul Mantle, we get 5 totems. This is ridiculous. And the funniest thing is, even though we get affected by curses anyway, we can still regenerate so much shit. It's pretty crazy, guys. 5% of life regen per totem. This is crazy. And look at this. Sanctuary of Thought also gains 10% less mana reservation. So this is potentially opens up us to 2 huge auras as well. Overlord Hierophant is one of the craziest totem classes now, which has got tremendous amount of buffs going from the shit to something ridiculous, and I'm quite happy with this. Unfortunately, Scion and the Ascendant might suffer a bit, but not entirely. I mean, Scion and Ascendant still have the curse immunity, still have crit, still can go something else, because the Ascendant got a buff as well. So I'm still undecided if Hierophant is OP now for totems entirely or not. Guardian got nothing but buffs as well. He's just so much stronger and tougher. Fucking crazy tough asshole now. Look at this. From 0 to 10% chance to gain power frenzy in energy charge on hit. So it's not even on kill, it's on fucking hit. So you hit with anything and basically have the chance to gain all charges except all charges. Again, all charges. This is ridiculous. At the same time, the toughness has been buffed as well. Look at this. Bastion of Hope has been changed. Previously you have 5% block chance. Now it's 50% additional block chance for 2 seconds every 5 seconds instead of 50 for 1 second every 5 seconds. So it dropped 5% base block chance, but now you get 50 block chance for 2 seconds every 5 seconds. And look at this. If you have attacked recently, you and your nearby allies also have 10% chance to block attacks. It's new. And also if you cast a spell recently, you and your nearby allies have 10% chance to block spells. This is like a lot of block, guys, for all the allies. And I think this might be like even more support meta now with the Guardian than with the Necromancer, assuming how much charges he can gain and share with the allies and how much block chance he can give to the allies. This is fucking ridiculous. This is like the Mr. Top guy for the party right here. Champion got quite an interesting rework as well. Now, first of all, enemies taunted by the champion cannot evade attacks. So previously they just could do this. Also, more move speed now, right? Yeah. Inspirational Conqueror, Inspirational Conqueror, what is this? Inspirational, yeah. From 8% move speed to 12% move speed. Also, look at this. Conqueror changed. Enemies taunted deal 20% less damage with hits and ailments. Okay. And regen reduced damage taken, but there is a 100% chance to taunt on hit now. They just taunted all the time. Another interesting thing, but and the most important in my opinion, is this. This is called First Strike to Fall, First to Strike, Last to Fall node. Has been reworked. Your hits permanently intimidate enemies that are on full life. Gain adrenaline for 20 seconds when you reach low life if you don't have adrenaline. Remove all ailments and burning when you gain adrenaline. And what is adrenaline, guys? It's 100% increased damage, 25% increased attack, cast, and move speed, and 10% additional phase damage reduction. So basically, when they hit you, you drop to low life and you do ridiculous amount of damage. So I think there should be some kind of trick or maybe a life reserve. I don't know what will happen, but something will happen to keep champion on low life like most of the time, at least once per 20 seconds. You need to do something to make champion on low life so that you could get this ridiculous amount of damage and ridiculous amount of boost. So I think this is we will see some strange builds going with champion. I'm pretty sure about this. So champion got much better and more interesting. For Raider, there's a couple of interesting changes out there. First of all, we gain onslaught on bosses now. Look at this here. 10% chance to gain onslaught for 10 seconds when you hit a rare or unique enemy and unique bosses. So basically you gain like onslaught flask up all the time, even against any boss out there. Previously it was just 4 seconds on kill, and now we get 10 seconds on kill and also 10% chance to gain onslaught on a rare and unique enemy. Another thing that has changed is the phasing is now gives less move speed. Like for example here, move speed has been nerfed a bit, like from 4 to 3% here and here, but the phasing lasts longer now. Look at this. Where is it? Phasing for 3 seconds on kill, right? Now it's 4 seconds on kill. So basically, and look at this as well, 20% increased speed movement while phasing, and here we have 10% increased movement speed while phasing. So a phasing will give you a slower but more reliable buff, like for 4 seconds instead of 3 seconds. These are the only changes for Raider, and overall it's nothing crazy. Like I haven't changed, I haven't noticed like anything else. The frenzy charges are still there, I guess, so everything else is the same. It's just onslaughting in bosses and a little less move speed overall. So Pathfinder even got a buff, guys, and even though Pathfinder was one of the most favorite classes among many players, and it costs Flask Finder because it abuses Flask like crazy, it can abuse Flask even crazier now, because look at this. Now, previously we have Flasks gain a charge every 3 seconds. Now take a look at this. Flasks gain 3 charges every 3 seconds. That's fucking ridiculous. And this is pretty much the only change that will happen. The rest I do not see anything. Like, nothing have changed at all except of this. So the Flasks Finder got better now with the Flasks. Necromancer also got an interesting shit here, like for example Bone Sculptor node, which is completely new, or the old world Spirit Eater. So Bone Sculptor now is skeletons deal 40% increased damage, summon 2 additional skeleton warriors with summon skeleton, 100% increased skeleton movement speed. So this like clutches for the fucking skeletons so they could move faster. Summon skeletons hits can be evaded. A really resolute technique. Really awesome. Plus 2 to maximum number of skeletons. Now the skeleton army rises up, guys. There's also plenty of shit added to zombies, like Caustic Cloud was there. Max life is chaos damage. Zombies, area of effect is massive. Zombies, minions life damage. Overall buffs all over. Completely not Puppet Master, increased move speed, minion duration, that's very good. Well, minion duration will be actually for SRS there. For SRS, this will work, I guess. That's pretty interesting. Okay. This is just buffs for the Necromancer. And look at this. This is the most interesting nerf. Your offerings have 50% reduced effect on you. That's very good. That's very good. This is a fucking nerf. Because, you know, this ridiculous block chance and discipline shit and other energy shield shit on Necromancer was like over the borders, to be honest. And Necromancer being the ridiculous blocker in the game was completely GG, and I'm quite happy with this little nerf over there. And this 40% increased damage if you consume the corpse instantly is pretty crazy. This is from Spirit Eater as well, just a bit of a change to create this new Bone Sculptor node over here. So, oh, Necro End is in a great place, to be honest. It's just fucking awesome as it is. Okay guys, this is Saboteur, and this is one of the classes that I like the most, and I've been waiting the most for the rework of this class because I've extensively played the Miner and the Trapper in the Harbinger League. So let's take a look. First of all, there's a new revoked node, Pyromaniac, immune to ignite and shock. This gives us recovery, 1% life regen per second for each of your mines detonated recently. Okay. Up to 20%, so 20% life regen, really? Holy fucking shit! 1% life regen per second for each of your traps triggered recently. Recently is 4 seconds. So if you trigger how much? If you trigger 5 traps in 4 seconds. 5 traps in 4 seconds, you will regenerate 20% of life per second. Really? That's really neat. That's really neat. And reduce cost of skills that place mines and traps. That's very good. So, trap throwing speed has been reduced. Why? Oh, that's pretty strange. That's not that needed. Like, the cooldown is more important. Okay. This has been just mixed across the nodes. But what about new? Yeah, my enemies are blinded. Okay, this is from the blinding assault here. Cannot be blinded. Increase blind duration, that's not that important. Perfect crime, now this completely new node. Look, 20% increased cooldown recovery speed for throwing traps and gain 8% increased damage for each trap. This is good. This is from Bomb Specialist added. 20% is up from 10%. 20% chance for traps to trigger an additional time. That's okay, but it doesn't really solve the issue of the massive cooldown for traps versus mines. Like, look, for example, here, this is 30% increased cooldown recovery, right? This is down from 40, and this is like new one. So this is 50 combined. So up from 40 we get 50%, so 10% more cooldown recovery for traps, but this is still horse shit. That's what it is, guys. This is very bad because with mines you can basically spam them infinitely. Like, place mine on the spell totem and he will then start placing mines, he will fucking detonate them, detonate mines on spell totem, he will fucking spam them infinitely. But you can't do this for traps because traps are limited on cooldown, and you can throw your traps and just wait this and sit and wait for them to fucking recover. This is shit. Why fucking cooldown recovery for traps is still even there? This is ridiculous. Okay, that's good. Increase area effect, increase area damage. This is very minor, like, it's not that important, to be honest. It's like small damage node here. That's okay, but nothing crazy. Well, it's pretty bad rework. The mandatory, like, fundamental flows of the traps are not solved, which is in cooldown. We get more recovery now, but the cooldown is still there, and even though we have 20% chance to traps to trigger additional time, it still doesn't really solve the boss problem. Like, against bosses, traps are complete fucking horseshit, even with bad traps. And what is this, like, elemental damage? Really, guys, fucking hell. There are still physical traps in the fucking game, like the bear trap. How are we fucking supposed to play the fucking bear trap if you have increased fucking elemental damage on the nodes? You fucking idiots. Just put the trap and mine damage here instead. Trap and mine fucking damage. Forget about fucking increased elemental damage horseshit already. Jesus Christ. What the fuck with this? Now, overall Gladiator just got better. Look at this. Cannot be stunned by hits you block. Your counterattacks deal double damage. And also, +4 to maximum block chances. It blocks even better now. And also look at this. 80% increased fist damage if you block a hit from a unique enemy in the past 10 seconds. This is very good. will help towards boss fights. And 1% additional block chance for each hit you've blocked in the past 10 seconds. It's very, very good. And look at this. Attacks maim on hit against bleeding enemies. This is basically the bleed notes here. Chance to blind with hits against bleeding enemies. Pretty crazy. So you can blind on hits now. Enemies maimed by you take 10% increased fuse damage. Pretty strong. Okay. Okay. And this is it. More damage with bleeding. This is just, you know, the bleed notes right here. So this is like overall Gladiator can be played in two different ways. You can play either with bleed explosions or play with full elemental conversion and convert everything to elemental. It all depends on your build and your choices, because only physical damage can cause bleeding. But overall, I think the Gladiator got just fucking better, and it has more block chance, it has more bleeding damage now, it has different kind of utility. When you bleed, you can blind the bleeding enemies now and maim them on hit. That's very, very strong. There's a lot of utility there as well. Now, surprisingly, Inquisitor I haven't been really touched at all, and I think I'm quite happy with this because it's a strong class for all crit spell damage and for everything else. The recovery could be better, to be honest, but overall Inquisitor is very solid as it is. And it only got few minor changes, like chance to create consecrated ground when you hit a rare or unique enemy lasting 8 seconds. It will help regenerating against bosses, actually. That will help greatly. And also there's immune to elemental elements while in consecrated ground. This is also pretty neat, I would say. That's about it, that's all. Juggernaut looks pretty weird now. First of all, you gain increased accuracy rating if you've dealt critical strikes in the past 8 seconds. And at 30% increased damage if you've dealt critical strikes as well. Gain accuracy rating equal to a strength, pretty crazy. So basically they try to make some kind of crit version for Juggernauts now, which is pretty weird. Okay. Now, a life regeneration actually got down with the amount of endurance charges, which was pretty bad. But we get flat 2% of life regen per second now and 5% reduced damage taken. A percent of total fuse damage prevented from hits in the past second is regenerated as life per second. This is very interesting. This is very strange. Like, total fuse damage prevented from hits regenerated as life. Well, that's very interesting. I wonder how this will affect the overall generation of life. Now this is all the same shit. Now this, gain an endurance charge every second if you've been hit recently. This is pretty insane. And look at this as well. This is unyielding, has been reworked. 5% increased damage per endurance charge. Okay, increase area of effect. Now this is fucking GG. Imagine you have 7, 8 endurance charges, like 8, okay? 8 endurance charges, 40% increase area of effect. This is like walking increase area of effect on every fucking jag skill. Guys, this is insane. This is so good. Chance to gain endurance charge when you stun an enemy. Increase stun duration on one endurance charge. Okay. So unyielding and unflinching. So when unflinching, get endurance charge every second when you've been hit recently. And with this, you basically generate with stuns, like the old way, you know. And unrelenting has been also changed. Additional fizz damage reduction per endurance charge. Okay. Chaos Respite endurance charge. Pretty cool. So I'm gonna even kind of try to survive the poison damage. So overall, Juggernaut gains less regeneration, like less flat life regen based on the endurance charges, but for fizz damage he even got tougher now. And there's also kind of a similar attempt to try and fit the crit aspect in the Juggernaut as well, which is something pretty interesting. But there's not many crit versions of the Juggernaut builds out there, so I'm not sure this will work. But this looks very, very interesting now, especially for the new Tectonic Slam skill gem. Now, the sign Ascendant Ascendancy got quite a lot of changes, guys, and I wouldn't even go for all of them because they are incredibly massive. I can also say that like the Occultist now gains +1 additional curse. Marauder gets life region without a totem. The Chieftain gets life region without a totem. That's pretty cool. Assassin got a nerf actually. The crit chance for an assassin got nerfed, but you gain power charge generation now. The power charge generation is better. Like you get 10% chance to gain a power charge and critical strike, which is really good. A chance to poison a hit and 10% increased movement speed. Well, if you killed recently, this is very strong. Juggernaut halves increased accuracy now, which is very, very cool. And gains 5% increased damage per endurance charge. Slayer got cooling strike added, so everything just got fucking better and better, guys. Increase attack damage on Raider, and what else? Fist damage reduction for Templar, non-curse arrows, increase effect. Inquisitor got crit multiplier against enemies that are affected by ailments. Okay, Pen. What else? Gladiator got his block chance applied to spells buff up to 50% up from 30. Maximum block chance, so there's a lot of blocks. So basically all the Ascendant nodes were buffed, which is pretty crazy. Except maybe Assassin. I'm not very happy that the crit chance got lower for this. This is pretty bad, to be honest. Like 0.5% of crit chance gone, but at the same time we get like the more power charge generation, which is smoother, which is not bad, I guess. And also more crits chance for power charges, but less flat crit, which is can be lazy, but that's okay, I guess. So if you want to look deeper into the Ascendant changes, guys, take a look in the forums, and the patch notes will be out pretty soon as well. Now, Trickster got some ridiculous reworks here, like completely new nodes and a lot of major reworks as well. But take a look at this. Harness the Void. Your hits have 20% chance to gain 50% of non-chaos damage as extra chaos damage, and 15 to gain 100% of non-chaos damage, and 10% chance to gain 200% of non-chaos damage. Like, what the actual fuck? Granted, it is only with hits, so it doesn't work with spells, like spells that do not hit, but still, it's ridiculous. It's fucking, like, I wonder if it will be, like, all at once, or you only have, like, when you hit, again, one of these chances. If there's one of these chances, that's okay, but if you get all of this, it's fucking ridiculous. I mean... And we all thought that a fist to ally conversion was insane and the abyss, but take a look at this, guys. Okay, so the prolonged pain, completely new node, increased skill effect durations, very interesting. Reduce damage taken from damage over time, increase poison. So that's poison and damage over time, and skill effect, that's very strong. Like poison shit and any damage over time. Right, as fire and all the garbage. Okay. Now this increased damage per frenzy in power charges instead of increased damage over time. That's very strong as well. This movement skills cost now mana, pretty crazy. And this increased attack and cast speed if you use a movement skill. So this attack and cast speed as well. Okay. And Patient Reaper increased damage over time 50% now? Really? Oh, look at this. Recover 2% of max life on kill, energy shield, and mana on kill. So this is basically just the fucking you know, Juggernaut now of everything. Like ridiculous amount of damage over time now, as well as recovery is massive. This is pretty crazy, and this is ridiculous. Look at this. 40% increase attacking cast speed if energy shield recharges started recently. What the actual fuck? Well, there's so much craziness. Another new note. +5 to evasion range per 1 maximum energy shield on the helmet. Really? Well, you can get a lot of energy shield on the helmet, guys. So this, like, imagine we have like hybrid, yes, and evasion, or just pure evasion, like 200 evasion. Okay, that's 1000 evasion. That's crazy. Max energy shield per 6 evasion, so that's very interesting. Cannot be stunned if you've been hit recently. Cool. Well, reduced damage taken. It's like a lot of defense. And look at this. So like 6 plus 8% reduced damage taken. That's like 40% reduced when you spend mana and get hit. Holy shit, that's a lot of defense, quite an interesting recovery, and the damage looks pretty ridiculous, so I wonder if this all go fucking live and this is like for real. Now the Slayer Ascendancy is almost like not touched at all. Like they removed this garbage, less damage to surrounding targets, but the increased damage while leeching, 30% increased damage while leeching, and life leech effects are not removed on full life. This is moved from Endless Hunger. But okay, you are immune to bleeding while leeching. This is moved from Brutal Fervor, so it's kind of scattered all around, okay. But this cannot take Reflect Fizz. God Almighty, this is brilliant, because you can now play Fizz Reflect maps. This is giant for mapping, giant, guys. And also there's increased stun duration on enemies and cannot be stunned. That's about it. The rest is unchanged, so it's pretty much the same. I mean, there's no nerfs. Like, this is still the top shit here on top. And that's about it. Like, nothing else is really important, unfortunately. So the Slayer was almost unchanged. It's just as good as it was, even better with Fizz Reflect immunity. Take a look at the Elementalist, guys. It also got quite a bit of rework here. First of all, Panel of Destruction has been greatly reworked. You now get 75% increased area effect for 5 seconds, and then 75% increased elemental damage for 5 seconds. These are consecutive, so they go one after each other and change all the time. This is very, very strange. Like, you gain massive increase area of effect, and then but you do no damage. Then you do like huge damage for the next 5 seconds. It's pretty strange, like fucking strange, guys. Well, the chance to freeze, shock, and ignite were increased here and here as well. Beacon of Ruin, chill from your hits, always slow by at least 10%. Okay, that's garbage. Shocks hits, increased damage taken by at least 20%. Garbage. Now, Paragon of Calamity. This is interesting. 0.5% of elemental damage leeches life. So that really saves you from buying expensive, you know, Shaper amulets with leech as life. This is very, very good. Very good. Cannot take reflected elemental damage. What? Oh, that's huge. Fucking huge, guys. So Ele Reflect a moon, really? Fucking awesome. Okay, Leech of the Primordial. Increased damage for each summon golem, 20, down from 40, that's a nerf. Another nerf, increased effective buffs granted by golems for each summon golem. Another nerf, from 100 to 25. Okay, it's now shit. But the new, completely new node called Elementalist. 20% increased golem damage for each golem you have summoned. This kind of synergizes with this and adds on top of this. Okay. Cannot be chilled when you have Ice Golem, cannot be ignited when you have Flame Golem, cannot be shocked when you have Lightning Golems, 1+1 Golem as well. Okay, so this one here and one here. Then, Mastermind of Discord, Damage Pan, well affected by Heralds. That's very interesting, that's very good actually. Increased effect of Heralds, very good. A reduced mana reservation of Herald skills. Now this is like the Herald user now. Very interesting. But the only thing that I don't understand is why it has nothing like for crit, and why it's so bad for elemental damage. Like, why elemental damage is so low on this one. Like, the Inquisitor is still better than this for crit, or even for the crit or non-crit, but you know, for non-crit, Elementalist is even like the weaker version of the Inquisitor, which is pretty strange, to be honest. But I don't know why they decided to make the Gladiator from Elementalist entirely. It's like the Gladiator greatly buffed on these nodes, but the damage on all like spellcaster builds from who wanted to play Elementalist, it's not that high, and I don't see the reason why it was done like this. Like, Elementalist should be like the shit for all elemental damage, not entirely the Templar. And right now it's fucking Templar or even the Pathfinder for elemental damage, but why not the fucking Elementalist? I mean, it should be done. I mean, fucking bring Elementalist back and give it like the power to do elemental damage with any spells. Why should turn it into Gladiator? I'm not happy with these changes at all, guys. Now let's take a look at the Occultist, guys, because it's gone quite a major rework. First of all, Forbidden Power now adds increased area of effect per power charge, which is pretty massive, as well as spell damage per power charge, and you gain power charge now after you spend a total of 200 mana, which is pretty neat. You don't need to crit to gain power charge. This is very, very good. Now, power charge duration has been increased. This is changed from crit strike change. So basically, crit is gone, but we gain power charge generation and power charge duration as well. Effect of your curses from increased curse duration. Okay, curses now applied to hexproof enemies. This is completely crazy for the Occultist. This is like fits perfectly. Curse enemies or you or your minions, so that's now also can use minions, have a chance to explode. Okay, the chance has been increased, so you can use minions now as well, dealing a quarter of the damage as chaos damage. Okay, increase the effect of your curses, curse duration. Now this one is added as well. Malediction, increase the effect of your curses. This goes here. When you kill an enemy, gain 8% of non-chaos damage as extra damage for 4 seconds. Okay, that's a buff, guys. That's the buff. This just doubled. Enemies you curse have malediction. Pretty insane. Enemies with malediction deal 10% reduced damage and take 10% increased damage. This is quite powerful. At the same time, we have Vile Bestiary now, which adds 150 to max energy shield, as well as 1% of energy shield regenerated for each enemy you or your minion. So you can use minions now, have killed recently, up to 30%. So we don't need to be on energy shield now. This is pretty damn good, guys. Can be stunned while you have energy shield. This is amazing. So Occultist is just a straightforward buff, and it's pretty crazy, guys. I'm really happy. Occultist is a very strong class, which is just insane with curses, and I really like the power charge generation now with area effect and spell damage. This is so good, like for all kind of shit like essence drain and other crazy stuff. In my opinion, the new Chieftain is also very strong. Like, for example, now you have 10% chance to cover rare or unique enemies in Ash for 10 seconds when you hit them. At the same time, you can convert 50% of physical damage to fire, and with Avatar of Fire, you basically deal no physical damage at all, which can potentially buff your fire damage even further. And look at this, every 10 seconds gain 70% of physical damage as extra fire damage for 3 seconds. This is fucking ridiculous amount of damage. And at the same time, now we get plus 100 to fire resistance. This is pretty crazy, guys, and unaffected by ignite. So everything fire damage is Chieftain. He is pretty ridiculous at this. I'm really happy just how Chieftain turns out now. It's pretty powerful, and for the caster worship totem with the 100% feast to fight convention, this seems like a very solid starter build, and as well as it will carry you to the end game as well. And I think that it might be my league starter, like for farming everything, for clearing the maps. You also have more reliable like endless charge duration and generation with this, and you have like this chance to totems to gain endless charge, increase fire damage per endless charge. You get 6% increased fire damage per endurance charges. So you can not only generate charges, you have increased fire damage for endurance charges. Overall, Chieftain is a very reliable class to farm all content in the game and as a league starter as well. This is about all 19 classes, guys, and I think that I hope that the video was not very long for you, and I hope you learned something and understood something about the upcoming changes for the Ascendancy classes. Thanks for watching, see you soon in the next video.